What's up, everybody? Tyrone E. Wilson here. I am going to be joined by some amazing guests tonight. They are going to be added to the show as they come on. My goal is to try to my best to start on time. Today, right now, we have Jay, another round, and Leanne, the lovely Leanne. I know you all have seen her recently. I would like you all to introduce yourselves real quick, let the people know what you're doing and where they can find you.
Well, I'm
Well,
leaving.
hello, sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry,
Sorry
Leah.
about that, Jay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Jay. Of course, you guys know me from another round from other panels. It's, of course, Kojo and Sabrina's panels. You can find me on my YouTube channel, Another Round JS, and on Instagram, Another Round _ JS.
Hello,
Leah.
everyone. My name is Leanne Davis. I am located in Dallas. My background is in physical fitness. I've been a studio owner, and I still currently do work with some in fitness in some capacities. Most currently, a realtor, and as of earlier this year, a cast member of Ready to Love Dallas. And you can find me on all platforms at my name, LEIANNDAVIS_living.
Kalila.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kalila. It's nice to be here. I am a cybersecurity professional currently working as a cybersecurity risk governance specialist, a friend of Tyrone. Not new to the show, but happy to be here.
Cool, cool, cool. So I have been doing the mental health talks for quite a few months now. If you don't know, it started because I revealed a mental health diagnosis on myself on national TV. I didn't think it was a bad thing to say because I don't approach it as a negative. And my goal has always been to try to normalize these types of conversations. If you missed it, then you may have seen, me with a bunch of the fellas from last week. We had J Dub, we had my really good friend Brandon, we had Paul from Ready to Love Potomac, and Phil from Ready to Love DC. If you missed it, it was really, really good. Definitely go and check it out. We were all vulnerable. You may have seen me lose it a little bit, which I am not afraid to do publicly. And that was part of the conversation, vulnerability versus masculinity. So it tied in really, really well. But then one of the things that happened was the other guys really, really picked me up and created a safe space, which is what we're trying to do. All right. Before we begin, I let everyone know that we're going to try our best to focus on the positive sides of mental health and things that move you in a positive direction while touching on some of the things that may have negatively affected you. So, everyone in the audience can put two and two together. So, as you know, I would never ask anyone to do anything that I wouldn't do. If you saw my very first mental health video, that was me opening up to everyone. So one of the things that I'm going to ask all of the panelists, but I will start with, is just to kind of speak on something that may have been plaguing you a little bit recently, and you just are not finding it easy to either express yourself or get past it. One of the things that have been affecting me recently is my anxiety has been building. If you notice, I may cough a little bit tonight, and it was because this past weekend, and I'll be vulnerable again for a little bit. This past weekend was probably the only time in the past, I don't know, 2.5, 3 years where I had zero responsibilities. If you follow me, you know that there are some things that have been taking place in my life, living as a caretaker. So I've been really, really focused on my family, moving, and things of that nature. So I was able to get away. And you may have seen some footage of me where I was able to really let myself go. And it was a really, really joyous occasion for me, a really happy moment for me. And if you don't know, I actually broke down a little bit while I was down there. You may have saw the reel where, they came with the happiness and success side. So I was living in, I had this conundrum to where it was truly one of the happiest moments I've experienced in a long time, but it also made me think about everything that I had left back home. So yes, that's something that I definitely wanted to get out. It's been giving me a little bit of anxiety knowing that, I am coming back, and I may not have the opportunity to do something like that for quite some time. So maybe that's the anxiety. Maybe I missed my weighted blanket. Maybe I missed my 5 mile walks. Maybe I was dehydrated. Maybe it was a combination of all those things. But, like I said, I would be the first, to put something out there about myself in hopes that, it'll create, a motivational aspect for someone else. So that's it for me. I don't want to call anyone out, but if anyone would like to go next and volunteer to tell a little bit about their story, that would be great.
All right, I guess I'll go. So my current issues and long-going issues have always been between stability and growing and evolution for me, because I grew up, I always tell people I grew up like a military brat without the military. I moved around a lot as a child. I was always on the go. And so that part of me is still within me. However, I'm trying to maintain stability in one location without having the urge to up and just pack everything up, move, and start all over, because that is my problem right now. That tends to make me go up and down in my mood. So I'll start this part of the section of traveling makes me the happiest right now, because that actually soothes that little itch to move around a lot, but still keeps me grounded of knowing that I got somewhere stable to come home to. So that's what I'm working on right now.
I would say for me personally, most recently, I would say anxiety as well. A change in business, change in living situations. As an entrepreneur, I definitely, you're up, you can be down. And a lot of changes came with the pandemic. Like for me, I'm sure no worse than anyone else, but had to overcome a lot of that and decide whether if I was going to continue focusing on only fitness, or was it time for me to step into another role, and the steps to do that. And, this change in life, how was it going to affect me financially? I am, I don't want to say type A, but I do think a lot. So, and I'm very detail oriented, and sometimes I can definitely overthink a lot of situations and bring about much more anxiety, and it really affects my my stomach. And it's also, you have all these details. I do my best to stay organized. That seems to help me. But getting so worked up about things that you don't actually accomplish those things, which bring about a little bit more anxiety. So a big thing for me is definitely exercise. I feel like that and prayer are the two things that I probably go to the most when trying to move past anxiety about whatever is going on.
I think for me, it's been definitely anxiety about a few things. So about a year ago, my family lost someone very close to us to suicide, and it was rough. It's still rough. We just had like a month or so ago, like their 1 year anniversary of their passing, and it had such a trigger effect on us, on me and my daughters. And it's been a struggle for one of my daughters, because she suffers with depression. This has brought on like PTSD. This has brought on depression and anxiety for her, which kind of triggers everyone around her, because we're just afraid. We don't know what to do sometimes. So we are learning our way through things. However, I do have moments where I just break down by myself, because it's hard. You see what that looks like in real life, to lose someone that way so tragically. And you don't want it to happen to anyone else that is close to you and that you love. So sometimes I feel like we are having really good days. Sometimes are not so good. Working through it, through therapy. I'm actually looking to find a new therapist out here in the Georgia area, because like I can't do this by myself. Like I even a year after it, it's like I can't do it by myself. It's hard being the glue to constantly hold yourself together, your family together, your kids together, your friends. It is very difficult sometimes just to keep going. Everybody expects you to be strong all the time, and it's just not realistic. Like, that's not a realistic expectation. However, with family, friends, even with work, people just expect you to just show up, and sometimes that's just not possible. So that's definitely one of the major things that I've been just trying to work through.
Definitely having children. I do have a child. She is older, but you, like you said, you're never first, and that's hard. That is very hard.
Yes. First, I want to appreciate you all and thank you all for sharing that and being vulnerable. Some of the things that you touched on, we had touched on in the last conversation last week, and it was about being strong and trying to be strong for everyone and having it be okay, to lose it a little bit and not be the strong one. You do have to protect yourself first, and you can't be, that way 24/7. I do have a really good friend that runs the suicide prevention program for the Army, and she breaks down quite often because every suicide in the military, she handles it and has to send a care package and create, that safe space for the family. And it takes a toll on her. If you don't know the statistics, it's almost like two people a day. So to do all of the classes and the presentations and things of that nature, I, I totally get it. If you ever wanted to watch that or connect with her, I can definitely make that connection. She has tons and tons of resources for you. Leanne, we also did a talk about anxiety. It was literally called All About Anxiety. And I spent a lot of the talk talking about things that I did to overcome my anxiety. COVID took a toll on me as well. I suffered my first anxiety attack. It was really, really scary. I had no idea, what it was to feel all this tingling stuff in your chest and then have the doctors tell you that there's nothing wrong with you and have all your friends tell you that there's nothing wrong with you. It's just anxiety, but it's like, I have no idea what anxiety means. But just really quick, some of the things that helped me was there's a book by Eckhart Tolle called The Power of Now. I read that. Going on the long walks without the headphones helped.
Your surroundings.
I started growing plants. So I brought an aero garden to kind of focus on something within the future. Had a 20-pound weighted blanket that I bought. And then I started focusing on, I guess you could call it retail therapy, but I wanted things, in my home that would make me feel a certain way when I walked in. So I started doing that. So I invested in a bed, because that's where you're going to spend a third of your life. And what was some other things, like a big TV, because that's just one of the things that I wanted. And then, I think it's okay to splurge on yourself, to bring some of that stuff down. If you want the expensive drink when you go out, go get it. If you want the meal, get it. If you want that first class ticket,
get it.
It's just so much unnecessary stress, and I don't think the money is worth it, and especially now where I am, I realize you don't get that time back, so it's better to just you can go all out on yourself, and if you want to go all out on your friends, you can do that too. I did that a little bit this weekend, so it's all good.
One of the things you mentioned is creating your space at home, and for me, sunshine. I love to walk into. I have a lot of windows. I love where I live right now, and like you said, I spent on furnishing it, and it is peace to me. And I do my best to be careful who I invite over, because that does, change your energy. So I do love my home. It is really a big sense of peace. I could totally be fine in here and not leave. I'm just as happy being home here as I am being out and enjoying events and my friends and family. And the other thing that really helped me was as soon as I woke in the morning, is to start counting my blessings. Because I definitely was struggling, but at the end of the day, I still have a roof over my head. I still have a car. I still have my health. My parents are healthy. My family members are healthy. And just know that, these are going to be moments, but there are so many people that are in so much more pain and in so much worse living situations than what I had been in. So counting my blessings is something else that really helped me get started in moving beyond and working through, or still getting some of the things done that I needed to get done through the anxiety. It's obviously it doesn't go away immediately, but just putting, one foot forward and making lists, checking things off. As you're checking things off and you're able to accomplish things, I felt better and better about myself daily.
I think that's a really good idea. I started lately planning out things that I want to do,
yes,
and then just taking baby steps to accomplish some of those things. I had got in such a mood for quite some time where I didn't want to interact with people. I didn't want to go anywhere. I just kind of wanted to shut myself off from the world. A lot of the times, and I'm starting to get back in the zone of getting out, even if it's just to try a new restaurant, or hanging out with a friend, or even if I have like friends come into town. That's always really a nice feeling. But again, I'm just like you, Leanne, when you say I'm very cautious about who I allow in my space.
Very much so.
Nowadays, especially in my home. But again, I don't want my anxiety to continue to cripple me from getting out there and just living.
Are your children getting ready to return to school?
So my daughters are 25 and 26.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, they're older, and so we don't have the whole school thing, so that's always such a blessing to make it through that. But Um, yeah, they help me a lot. We help each other a lot.
That's good.
Because you know, at some points they suffer from different things, such as anxiety as well. So we just kind of remain a support system from one another, and just keep pushing each other along. It's important to have someone or some type of foundation and some type of family around you that can support you when you are feeling certain type of ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Good stuff. I definitely want to come back to the energy question. I do feel like I'm an empath
Mm-hmm.
a little bit, so I see things as well as feel things. And we did have a situation in over the weekend where it was a complete stranger. We had that conversation, and I told her I could see things, and she didn't believe me, and she kind of questioned it. And I told her something, and instantly brought her to tears. Complete stranger.
Wow.
Maybe I'll talk about it one day. Maybe she'll reach out and connect one day and have it. Let me know if it's okay to spread, to share it. But Sean has joined us. Bill has joined us as well. Sean, what we were doing was, we were going around the panel, and I explained that what we want to do is kind of focus on the positive, but explain or talk about something that has been affecting you negatively that you are kind of working on. Doesn't have to be a lot, but it would help explain the things that we're doing uh, on a positive level to change those things. So we've all went around the room. So just you could just introduce yourself real quick, and then kind of briefly talk about something that has been plaguing you a little bit.
Absolutely. So, what's up, everyone? I'm Sean. I'm Sean Davis 120 on IG. I haven't been so active on my YouTube platform, but I do have a YouTube channel, Sean Unfiltered. So lately, interestingly enough, the last few months, I've had to deal with a illness. So I was diagnosed with colon cancer, actually stage 3, back in May. Fortunately, I've had surgery and, am now going through chemo. So technically, I am cancer free. My prognosis is very, very good. So I am, excited about that. And, but yeah, no, it's the last few months have been quite a journey. And I have leaned into a lot of my friends, some of whom are on this platform, Jay, Ty, Phil, we've been on the last 2 weekends, we've been vacationing to the 99th power. So that has definitely helped me and been a good part of my healing journey and lifting my spirits and, just allowing me to, get out there and do some of the things that I love to do. So, yeah, no, I think just being positive, being conscious of who you surround yourself with, being prayerful, is very important. Having a relationship with God has definitely helped me through this challenge and helped me to, see through the, what sounded bleak at first, but seeing through that, I can definitely get through this. So, I'm very, very excited about that on the positive side. But yeah, it's a journey, right? And sometimes folks may see me and see what I look like at the moment and be like, okay, you're good, you got this. But, there's good days, there's bad days. If anybody has either dealt with a loved one that has had cancer or an illness similar, it is definitely not just physical, it is also mental, right? Because being somebody that's young, you don't expect to go through this.
Absolutely.
And when you do, it just kind of has you questioning a lot of different things, and it can make you doubt yourself. It can make you feel hopeless, but, just kind of plugging back in and realizing that you've got life to live for, and that, with the right care and love and support, it's something that I can get past. So that I'm confident in. So that's my journey, and that's what I've been going through most recently.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Sean. I wish the best. I have a lot of resources as well. If you need anything, at all, anytime, any day, just let me know. Phil, you there? All right, so while we're waiting on Phil, we can go back to that previous question about the energy, and I'll go to you, Jay. Can you talk about how, you can feel people's energy, how important that is to you, and what are some things that you do to make a change when you start to see that energy in the room is feeling a little bit negative?
First, let me give a disclaimer because I'm going through a dead spot, so it might go in and out. So just bear with me. You guys can't hear me though right now, right?
Yes.
Okay. So yes, I know you weren't there at the last of its Ty, so you missed my whole empath moment. But yeah, I'm a big empath. I do pick up on people's energies very well, and my gift and the curse is I always want to fix their energies when they're down, when they're bad, when they're negative, when they're sad. That's my thing. I want to take what you feel because I feel like I can handle it because I know how to release it. But the problem is sometimes I pick up too much of people's energies and I can't release it all quick enough. And so then I'm stuck sitting with it. So over time, I had to learn how to close myself off, so to speak, just enough that I can pick up your energy so I know how to move around you but at the same time protect my own. So I won't be just absorbing everything that you're throwing out into the world because it used to weigh me down a lot. I used to wonder why I was getting moods of depression, bust out crying out of nowhere for different things, and I couldn't figure it out until I realized that's what was happening in my life, is that certain people that would be around me, I was picking up on all the energies that they had, and I was carrying them around, and it was becoming a big old weight for me. And so I'm trying to think of different things I can help other people as far as blocking it out, because it's something that I had to literally learn over time. It wasn't very easy because I am really a people person. I like to be around people. I like to spend a lot of quality time with people, but having to close off to them made me feel like I couldn't trust people at the same time because I couldn't feel what energy they were bringing. So I had to figure out how to balance it out. And by doing so, I would just kind of like get to know you a little bit, but be standoffish, guarded. I wouldn't hug people at first because that vibe that vibrates off of you for a while, that it's a lot. So I had to, like, over time, just find myself. I had to be placed within myself, get real grounded with me, who I am, so I can understand who the people that I bring around me or other people bring around me are, and just accept them for them and move accordingly. I'm really trying to go in my head on ways to help other people do it, but it's really hard because it was just something that it just stumbled on one day, and I can't really tell you how to get there outside of just learning yourself enough to say, this is what I talk, this is what I don't, these are my boundaries, and if you don't deal with it, that's fine. I just need to move away from you, and I'm respecting other people's boundaries as well. So yeah, like everybody said, bringing certain people you bring into your force, your field force, is important and very key to how you're going to move forward mentally. And I just suggest that everybody does their due diligence, have discernment, pray for a lot of discernment in your life. Keep God first and foremost. And, if you just got a circle of two, that's just enough sometimes. Sometimes you don't have to have big circles. You could just have a couple of strong people in your corner. Not yes men or anything like that, but people that just keep you accounted for in life and that truly loves you. And just move from there, and you'll find out your circle will grow, because mine's just literally grown over the weekend, and I love it. So yeah.
Yes, indeed, all that. Leanne, you want to take that, and then Kalila next?
Well, I don't necessarily think that I am an empath, but I do think you have to so much trust in the people, or the actions of the people that are around you. And I mean, a lot of times I'm not the most trusting person, and I mean, I guess that could be a good, looked at either way, good or bad. But I think it's too about the vibe someone gives you. Even the people that are closest to you, how they support you. Are they supporting you in the same way that you are supporting them? And it can be slight. It can be slight, but something doesn't feel good. You definitely trust your feelings, and be mindful of who you're opening up to about your deepest feelings. I think there are always going to be very, very, very few people that you can truly trust in life. And I do think that's one of the, relationally things over the past several years, disappointed in who I thought was my friend. And being careful that when you're meeting people, not right away that people have to be, in the inner circle. I think it's totally okay to put people in boxes and understand what works best for you on being a friend to them. Maybe this is the friend that you don't invite to your home, but you meet out. Definitely, who you share your most personal feelings with, who you reach out to when you need to be vulnerable, and who responds in the appropriate manner when you need support. So yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting this conversation comes up because I am an empath as well. So, a lot of that blocking myself off from people, I have to recharge when I'm around a certain amount of people and their energy is like bouncing all over the place. It's almost like I have to like detox. Like I have to just shut it down in order for me to recharge myself back up to where I need to be, to where I'm in a healthy space. Again, you can meet a lot of people that have good energy, a lot of people that pretend well. However, that energy will not lie to you. It will tell you where you stand with someone. It'll tell you, sometimes what their intentions really are. I don't have a lot of friends out here in Georgia. I moved out here to Georgia like 2.5 years ago. So I don't have a lot of people out here that I hang with. But I do talk to a nice amount of my friends, over the phone, maybe video chat. And even then, sometimes when you're video chatting with, like, you can still, like, that energy is still there.
Absolutely.
You don't have to be in their presence in order to pick up on some of that, some people's intention. And again, it's a part of honing in on your discernment. When you pay attention to some of those signs, some of those feelings that you get, because that could be the very thing that saves your life in a situation. So yeah, I think it's like I say, this is a good topic. I don't meet a lot of other people that are empaths. So again, I'm that friend in the friend group that's absorbing all of this energy. And I'm just like Jay in a way. I have this thing where I want to take on their struggles. I want to take on what they are going through because I feel the same way. I feel like I'm probably better equipped to handle it. But I had to stop doing that because it was draining everything out of me. So I definitely agree with some of the points that she made, and have been paying attention to some of the tips that she's giving on how to kind of shut that off when needed.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that, Kalia, did you have those times though too where you have it on so much that people just come and voluntarily dump their stuff on you without even asking if you ready to handle it or not? Because that's what my problem was after a while. It's like people, my friends, even my friends would just be like venting. But when I start to vent, it's like, okay, girl, you're fine. Vent. Like
I call it you know what I call it? It's like trauma dumping. And so they'll drop off their trauma and their issues. And then, like you say, Jay, when it comes time for me to express myself, for me to unload some of the things that I am going through, it's not, people are not very receptive to it at times.
Absolutely.
People don't. Yeah, so the energy that I provide for them when they need me is not the same energy that I'm getting back in return.
Mm-hmm.
So I find myself giving a lot more than the normal average person. And that's something that I'm working on. I have to be okay with where my relationship is with certain people. If we're not as close as we used to be, it's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
We all learn and we grow and we live and we just branch out and go different ways, and that's perfectly fine. But I always let them know I'm here whenever you need me. We don't have to talk every day, but I'm still here.
Sean, you want to touch on that? And then I have one last question for everyone.
Yeah, so I would definitely say boundaries are important, and I think that's kind of like a sentiment that I've heard through what everyone has just recently shared. And I think for me, that's something that I learned in the last like 5 to 10 years, really just being clear about what my boundaries are. Sometimes, being okay if somebody's upset with you, it's all right. I think as somebody who in my group, as I'm an outspoken person, but I also like peace. I don't like having discord, or I don't like having long-standing stress. So, I would look to try to solve a problem. And sometimes, you just got to let things be what they're going to be. And I had to learn that, in order for my well-being, sometimes you just got to let things sit. And then you also have to be clear about what your boundaries are, even if it means that somebody's feelings may be hurt. But you always got to save yourself first, right? They tell you on a plane, you got to pull that oxygen mask down for you before you save anybody else. And I think that's a message that I take in my life. And it can sound selfish. And listen, we need to be selfish for our own well-being, because some of us, especially for those that have shared their empathic, traits, you trying to be there for everybody else and you feeling everybody's energy can really take you down. So if you're not choosing yourself first, if you're not clear about your boundaries, clear about what you're going to accept, it can be harmful. So that is definitely something that I've learned to be clear about in my life, and be okay with people being upset with you sometimes, because it's going to happen.
Absolutely.
And totally get it. Totally get it. We got Phil. We got like 20 minutes. Brandon and Phil, you want to just give a brief introduction who you are and what you're doing, and then I have one final question for everyone, and then we'll close out. Starting with Phil. Oh, Brandon, go ahead.
Yeah, cool. No, I'm just saying, what's up, man? You can hear me?
Yeah, we got.
All right, so you are in the man cave. This is B, out in the yard playing with the kids. Fresh off, had to come say what's up to my brother, because I know it's a great conversation. I'm Brandon Robinson. I'm an author that focuses on mental health. So that's who I am, and I also work in technology.
Ahead,
I think that's what you were looking for, right?
Yeah. We saw a lot of Brandon last week. If you missed it, it's almost like Brandon had the perfect explanation / response for everything that came up. He specializes in it. Definitely check him out. Go ahead, Phil.
Oh, what's up, everybody? What's going on? My name is Phil. Ty's personal assistant, especially when we out partying. So I make sure he stays out of trouble. But nah, I was on Ready to Love DC, and just here to support the conversation.
Sure thing. So we got one more question for everyone. What I'm going to do is I'll just start with myself with this one, and then we'll go around the room kind of clockwise. So the question for everyone, and it's because I feel that having a positive energy resource is vital, right? So the question is going to be, what is a moment or a resource that you go to when you are in serious need of positive energy? I can tell you for me, whenever I'm feeling down, like I immediately go to the moment when my daughter was born. I'm sure you could all see if you follow me, like how different I am when my daughter's around. I'm literally stress free, anxiety free, and the world is just different for me. So I call on that a lot when I'm down. The other thing, and it happened recently in the panel last week and over the weekend as well, and it was the ability to recall some of the instances and experiences that I have been able to share, with my family recently. And luckily for me, I've been able to record a lot of that, either with my drone or with my camera or with my GoPro. And even though it was I don't want to call it a bad experience for me over the weekend because it did bring me down, but the fact that I do have those experiences is what also brought me up at the same time. So J Dub just joined, and J Dub, you'll see in the video, kind of touched on that a lot. So that was that was me. Jay.
Oh, okay, I didn't know what direction we're going in. I got different things for different techniques for different situations. If I'm feeling high anxious, high anxiety, I tend to pray. I stop everything I'm doing in that moment and just pray to calm myself back down. Outside of that, music would be probably my number one go-to for any other highly mental emotional trauma thing I'm going through. I would literally put headphones on and just zone out and listen. And y'all see me this weekend. Y'all know I like to dance, so it's gonna be one of those two things that's happening. I'm be singing off key and dancing and don't care because that takes me out of the moment and out of my head, and that's my problem. I can overthink some things sometimes, so I just need to flush out all the noise that's going in, and so I do it with music. And when I just really need to calm down, I'll find the shower is like my favorite go-to place. Like I'll be in the shower or the tub for hours, just letting my mind clear everything that's going through it out. And cleanliness is next to godliness, and I love to be clean. So there we are. Yeah, that's all for me right now.
Oh, am I next? So a couple of things. Music. I'm with Jay again. The music is a big deal for me. My video games, like there is nothing like being in another reality other than the one I have going on right now. Sometimes, and then one big thing for me, and I always say, my dog Sora. He literally saved our lives. Like me and the girls, everything that we have been through, he's been a major support system for us, and that's our little family member. But he's like a comfort animal, so he gives hugs, and I mean he just picks up when on moments where we're not at our best, where we're not feeling good, and it's almost like he just senses that. But that is definitely one of my go-to things is Sora.
Sean.
So a couple of things. Most recently, in the past, I have engaged in therapy. When I went through my divorce about 3 years ago, when I started that process, I did go through therapy. I didn't seek it out here, but during my journey with cancer, but I have sought that in the past. And I think that I found that to be very helpful in just processing thoughts, working through how to handle challenges, conflict resolution. I think so. Those are some of the major things that I took away from my therapy process. I heard someone mention having a dog. I do have a dog, and animals are amazing. I know everybody's not a pet person, But animals are incredibly amazing. They have a keen ability to sense your emotions, your environment, and they just give unconditionally. And so I thank God for my dog. She has definitely been with me through this journey, and they're taking it easy on me on times when I can't necessarily play with her and walk with her the way I would like to. So, if anybody that has pets knows, they're amazing. And if you ever are thinking about getting one, I would advise it, if you can, and if you can tolerate it, because they, just give endlessly. So between therapy, my pet, my family, obviously, and close friends, have definitely, been things that I can lean into. So that's that for me.
Phil, Brandon, and then we'll close out with Leanne.
My bad, everybody, for being late. I guess a few things. I'll just name some of the top ones. Some of the things I would use, I would probably say, thinking of like some of the fonder memories of my mother before she passed. Some of the more inspirational moments that I've had with her. I also lean on my dad a lot. It used to be my mom, used to be like my right-hand man. I would tell her everything. And now it's like shifted to my dad, where they're, of course, can't tell him everything, but, I really lean on him for his guidance, for his protection, for his cover that he provides me. There's a lot of things in life that I've gone through that he reminds me. He's like, yo, I was young once too. And, he'll remind to go into like the all 80 stories of how he was young, dating, and doing all this random crap. That I'd be like, okay, Pops, I didn't really want to know all that, but appreciate you. That, and then I do a lot of charity work with kids, which I think for me is a real space to clear my head, right? It's whatever I'm going through, I'm able to pass some of that wisdom and knowledge on to somebody else to make sure they avoid some of the pitfalls that I've done, or just, tell them like, yo, no matter what, even if you fall, you stumble, you're going to get back up. It doesn't matter, like, whatever trauma, whatever heartbreak, whatever setback or obstacle I've been through in my life, I'm still here, I'm still standing. Even when it seemed at times where I wasn't, being able to relay that and have that conversation with somebody who's 10, 20 years younger than me, helps me get that release off. And I guess third is just basketball, man. I'm a big athlete. I'll go out to the court. That used to be like my safe haven. When I'm on the court, I don't think about nothing. Everything just comes back into focus. It's just, focusing, helping me refocus on the objective at hand, and just like, you miss a shot, you get another shot at it. Right? So go with those.
Brandon.
And Jay, you would never stand a chance. I'm just telling you right. You would never stand a chance. There's hockey. I know it's me. When you do something as good as I do it, you just not.
That's all I'm gonna give you.
It's not cocky. It's not cocky.
I ain't gonna say you being cocky. Men love to talk about the women can't take them. Okay.
It's 100% God. That's just letting you know. I don't want you to embarrass.
Right. Listen.
Listen.
Oh, I don't want to distract. We distracting the whole panel right now, okay? So I'm not gonna go there. We could have this offline. You know what I'm saying?
That random comment you try to throw in there, like,
because you ain't trying to see me.
Okay, Brandon,
right.
And then we'll go. Do we have Leanne?
We good? I don't want to interrupt.
Right.
Hey, I don't want to interrupt the banter, but no, it's always good to have some lightheartedness in this. So there are a few different things that I do, right? I think first and foremost, the thing that I think that helps me during the most difficult times is journaling and writing, right? Like, that's what I wrote my book on, right? Like, when words won't form, my pen speaks. Like when I'm going through some of the most difficult things, I can't actually like talk to somebody. I don't actually know how to process it. I can grab a pen and paper and I can get it out. And it usually comes out just the way I need it to come out. So that's one of the best ways. Honestly, I always say writing probably has saved my life and made it a lot better. Another thing that I do is working out. Working out has been very much a great outlet for me. I chose to do that because it's a healthy outlet, right? Like I, I faced a lot of like grief, losing people close to me, and I had to think about a positive way to channel some of that energy, right? Instead of like being like on some Detroit stuff and going, wow, I'm like, let me just go lift, So that's, and then the last thing I'll honestly say, like one of the safest spaces or one of my favorite spaces now is like just to be around my wife, right? Like it's, it's a great feeling. I can just talk to her. I can just sit in her presence. She doesn't have to say anything. She doesn't do anything. I can just look at her and I just feel happy. So that would be what it does it for me.
Well, gosh, everyone has, in some form touched on the things that I do to feel better. Maybe the one thing that was left out is laughter. I love to laugh. But outside of that, removing myself from or taking some space, the boundaries, as Sean mentioned, creating some space definitely will help you organize your thoughts and probably bring down whatever emotion is bothering you. Definitely prayer first thing in the morning. Don't touch your phone. Start with prayer, even if it's basic or simple, or you're just talking to God. You don't have to be on your knees or whomever you worship. Just, you don't even have to open your eyes. Just go to prayer, counting my blessings. Again, I know whatever I'm going through, there's always going to be someone who is much worse than I am. And so counting my blessings, praying and working out. If you don't feel like it, just go start. Once you get going, you will get something accomplished and you will feel better, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Indeed. This was really, really good, everyone. I hope you all got something out of the conversation. If not, at least, we've been able to say out loud what our positive energy resource is. I believe things change when your brain hears it. I hope that you all will be able to recall those positive resources when times do get tough. Same for everyone else in the audience as well. We're about to close out right now. I want to thank the panel one more good time for being here. I would love to have you all on again. We'll be back next week. Depending on how this goes, we may have to do it twice a week or 3 times a week, but it's going really, really well right now. Thank you all so much. The panel, thank you all so much. In the audience, we are about to go over to Sabrina's channel and do the panel on the RTL. So if y'all are over there, definitely join that. That is definitely a place, Jay, where you can make those twerking comments and have it be okay.
Baby, you can make them twerking comments everywhere, okay? Y'all see how y'all laughing and feel better. Twerking makes people happy. Twerking makes people happy.
I'm not going to take it from you.
How do we get on Sabrina's panel? Or how do we watch it?
Miss Sabrina Soul.
Okay.
Let me see if I can bring the link over into the chat. Hold on.
In RTL world. Tell us.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you again, everyone. I got 5 minutes to get ready.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, y'all.
I'm telling you.